Hey, it's John and Mike from Brew-Dudes.com, and we've got a couple of versions of the 2018 Community Brew from these Brew-Dudes. Two versions of the brown ale. This one is brewed by Mike, always on my right, and then this is mine on the left. I'm always on my left, yes. Clearly. So, Mike's has been in the keg for how many days?
3 days.
3, so not
maybe 2 days.
Not that carbonated, but you know, it might be actually pretty good for the style. I do have the guidelines here in front of me, so we can talk as we go through it. But today is more of like part of comparing these two beers based off the same recipe.
Wow.
And give you an update about the swapping that's going on, or at least the preparation for swapping that's happening around the world. And then we'll wrap it up. We'll just like have final thoughts on British Brown Ale. British Brown Ale, as it's called in the 2015 BJCP guidelines.
Wow. Okay,
so I think like right off the top, I made a stronger beer than yours, meaning that my original gravity was 1061 and mine finished at 1011.
Mine came in a little bit hotter than I wanted to.
Hot.
Not hot, but it came in. Mine came in stronger than I expected it to. But I was at 1052, and I think I was shooting for like or 1055. Mine was I was shooting for 1050, 10 right.
Yep.
That's what the recipe was. So, just efficiency, better efficiency that day, and like we talked about before, I'm always screwing my equipment, so I can't be predicted.
There is no predictability. Yeah. Okay.
So
right on. So I think that in terms of color, you know, if we're gonna go right down the line of evaluating these beers.
Oh wow.
Like from an actual appearance, it should be dark amber to dark reddish brown color, you know? Clear, which not yet, I don't think. I think
it's
this
gonna
will
take some time. How long has yours been in the
I think I got mine in the keg late, must have been maybe like not of this past Sunday, but the Sunday prior. I think I had it in the keg for a week because I bottled it up last Sunday, and that's when I started writing to people saying like, okay, you're swapping with him and you're swapping with that dude and all that stuff. So so it's been in there for a week or a week and a couple days now. So
mine's been in there for about 2.5 days, and I was really pushing it to carbonate. To the slow. Part of the reason was because my keg is actually. Talk about batch size issues. My keg is like I somewhat overfilled the keg, so you don't have as much head space. Carbonation slows down a little bit, but that's a different video. Let's move on.
All right. So for aroma, it should be light, sweet malt aroma with toffee, nutty, or light chocolate notes.
And I think the winner there is this one.
Really? Yeah. What's
with yours? I get a sweet malt. And I get the caramel on yours.
Yeah.
On mine, I get more of a strong toasted malt note.
Yeah.
Aroma-wise.
And like earthy. That's what it says. A light but appealing floral or earthy hop aroma. I'm getting more of that from yours.
Yep.
There's like a stronger, maybe even like a little nutty.
Yeah, mine is definitely more nutty, more toast driven.
Yeah. So flavor, gentle to moderate malt sweetness. I'll tell you what I think of mine.
Yep.
With a light to heavy caramel character and a medium to dry finish. Malt may also have a nutty, toasted, biscuity, toffee, and or light chocolate character. Medium to medium-low bitterness. Malt hop balance ranges from even to malt focused.
Yep.
Hop flavor, low to none.
Yep.
And then low to moderate fruity esters can be present. So, based on that, like mine, when I first started tasting it out of the keg, it was like full-on caramel. That's what I got, like full-on from what I thought from there.
My first sniff off of yours was a big hit of caramel, which I like.
Yeah. For yours, there's like definitely the more of the toffee notes.
Yep.
And some more biscuit. Like the caramel comes at the end, like in the aftertaste.
Yep.
But like up front, it's more of the toasty character.
It's pretty strong toast, I think.
Yeah. Mouthfeel, medium light to medium body, medium to medium high carbonation. So you could even.
Oh, it's got to go higher. It's gonna go higher. I feel like mine is Yours has got more of a malty body to it. There's a little bit more body to in yours. I mean, it was bigger beer, so mine's got more of a crisper, thinner presentation on the palate, I think.
Okay.
Which could very well be part of the difference with that caramelliness, right? Yours being a little bit bigger, the malt, the dextrins, the whatever, it's still a little bit preserved. Mine's a little bit thinner, so it's just not, it's slightly, it's drier, crisper, and not necessarily in a good way. Not necessarily in a good way.
All right, so I think overall impressions: a malty, brown, caramel-centric British ale, without the roasted flavors of the porter. So I have a question about that, and we can ask it later. But the comments: it's a wide-ranging category, different interpretations possible, ranging from lighter colored to hoppy to deeper and darker caramel focused. However, none of the versions have a strong roasted flavor. So I think there's definitely no roast in either of these beers.
Right.
Certainly low hop presence. I may give yours a little bit more.
Mine's definitely hoppier.
Yep.
But to be fair, we both use the same amount of hops, and your gravity being higher, your utilization would have been a little bit lower, and the final presentation of that, the perception of the hops in there, is going to be slightly restrained. Where mine, the body's a little bit less than it should be, I think. And the fermentation character is a little bit drier than yours, and so the hops are standing out more.
Agreed. Yep.
I do find it interesting that aroma-wise and flavor-wise, how with basically the same recipe, how different the two beers are. I mean, I don't think there'd be any mistaking these in a triangle test. You would absolutely pick them out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the colors are pretty much spot on. My beer is suffering from, granted, it could use some more carbonation, but, it's not really that far off of yours.
Yeah, I didn't really push the carbonation either.
There's definitely a fermentation ester quality in yours that's lacking from mine. And to be fair, I didn't get to use the appropriate yeast that I recommended for this because of moving stuff around from beer to beer.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing a package of SO4 and a package of Y yeast Yorkshire.
Oh.
So you got a blend going on. Yeah, so I have a blend going on.
Interesting. Well, that's a big difference.
But I'm glad but I like the way this one came out, fermentation character-wise. This is this is presenting a little more British than this is.
What was your fermentation temperature?
So my beer, I'm actually very disappointed in my beer, and for one tremendous reason is that, so I was at 1055, 1052 in that ballpark as an OG. My finishing gravity on this beer is about 1020.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I don't know. In this one, I mashed in my cooler, so it wasn't my recirculation issue.
Yep.
So now it's really blowing my mind. I'm thinking about why that is. So I think that, so when you asked temperature, it started off fermenting at about 72, 6, and then but then it chilled off pretty quick in the basement here.
Yeah.
And so it fermented strong for about 3 days. And the thing is with these English yeast is that once there's a bit of a temperature drop, they sort of poop out pretty fast. And so I think what happened is I basically sort of have a semi-stalled fermentation here.
Okay.
It doesn't taste overly sweet.
No.
And it doesn't feel like there's a tremendous amount of mouthfeel there. So I'm not quite sure what's going on. I checked it with 2 hydrometers. I even used my refractometer and did a correction. And it's definitely sitting at about 1020. So, I mean, my attenuation is garbage then. I've only got like 55% attenuation.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on there. I'm pretty disappointed with that aspect of what happened here. So the fermentation question, I started in the right place, temperature, but it fell off the table, and I didn't really, because it was going so strong in the first 3 days, and English yeast tend to go pretty quick.
Yeah.
I didn't really worry about it too much. But I should have checked the gravity at some point before I was pressed into getting it in the keg.
Yeah.
If we weren't pushing it for this, I probably would have tried to rouse the yeast and warm it up. Not in that order. I would have warmed it up and roused the yeast, just try to get something going. So that's a whole other video too.
Right.
Somebody should be writing this down.
That guy right there.
Yeah, I'm not totally disappointed with it, but it's
good.
I don't think it's presenting the way
you wanted
it should.
Okay.
You know, this I think is the recipe I envisioned in my mind. in the strength of it, I could care less about the strength of it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's sort of out of the spec for style, but who cares? Who cares about that? It's going to taste good.
Well, the only reason why I brought that up is that would you be able to detect it? Sometimes when I sip it, I'm like, and it's probably because I already am looking for it, but it comes up there. You know, there's almost like that. There's like these deep raisiny notes that I also denote with high alcohol beers. That comes through.
Yeah,
but
I think that it's hard in this style. In this style of beer, in this genre of beer, when you're throwing in the caramel crystal malt, and you're using an ester forward English ale strain, it's really hard to sometimes pull out whether or not you're just that's how these ingredients are presenting, or is it an alcohol sweetness? Is it a fermentation flaw? Is there some oxidation that's been picked up to give you that sherry-like quality? It's really hard to say in a beer like this, and you might see that in the judge's nose.
Right.
One judge might taste and go, "Oh, this is great English beer. It's got a beautiful fruity ester." And some other judge might go, "I think you've picked up a touch of oxidation there or something."
Which I don't see how that could be, because I just transferred it and definitely didn't.
It is absolutely, issues aside, it is absolutely amazing to me how, especially as this warms up and when I let it sit and I stop playing with it and then I sniff it, how much the caramel toffee and the fermentation esters come out of it, where mine is toast. Boom,
that's it.
Toast. And I don't know if I really like it. And it's I guess the point is, it's really fascinating to see how two brewers with the same recipe sort of, they look almost exactly the same. I think mine has a touch more amber to it. And I know our ingredients aren't exactly the same source. We should do we should do a beer where we go to the shop,
same place.
We get the same stuff on the same day, and then we go brew and just see what happens.
Yes, everything has to be the same and see what happens. All right, last thing, I fermented at I think from my Play-Doh airlock. I was saying, it was in the mid 60s Fahrenheit. But then I would look at my own temperature strip on the actual carboy, it was 72. So I think it started out low, but then got up to what I think.
With English beers, you want to try to control the fermentation, but after that first 3 or 4 days, the worst thing you can do is to let it start to cool off. You need the temperature to stay up, because the English ale yeast are looking for any excuse possible to quit.
To lay about?
To quit.
Got it.
Not like American ale yeast that just sort of goes longer before it quits, right? So it's definitely something with English ale brewing you got to watch out for.
Okay, so
this is the beer.
All right. 2 things. I keep saying last thing. Special roast.
Yes.
What does that bring? What does that bring to this beer?
I think it's the big toast bomb,
the big
right?
toast.
It's a big toast bomb. I bet if yours wasn't as large, the toast would probably be standing out from it.
And then the last thing is, because this was a community brew, people sent in pictures and videos and all kinds of things.
Yep, I deleted all that. No. So I'm gonna culminate that in its own montage video. I'm just gonna make a montage video of that stuff, and I'll just release it on a separate date out of the Wednesday cycle.
Okay.
Because I don't want this video to become mammoth.
Five hours long.
Right. So so look for the montage, and I'm gonna try to. It might take some time to edit it the way I want to edit it, but I've been looking at the clips. Yep. So it's gonna come out as its own thing.
Awesome.
At some point.
We had such a great participation this year.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was awesome. So
that's what matters. That's what matters.
That's really what it is.
Right?
We could brew against each other, but to be honest, it's all about brewing together, swapping, and then sharing in different ways, pictures, videos, and beer. What else do you want?
What else do you want?
Tremendous.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's the wrap up for the 2018 Community Brew. Thanks so much. I'm double fisting. For John and Mike, Brew-Dudes.com. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel, because we do this very often, every week. And we'll be making more videos like this. So if you're into home brewing, you like drinking beer, please keep watching. Thank you. Brew on.
Cheers.